Peace be with you. My name is Jim Rive, and I'm with BringHumanityTogether.com. The goal for this and forthcoming videos is to bring humanity together to solve common and critical problems, to provide helpful and practical guidance, a call to action for each of us, and to make our world a better, safer place. Today, we're going to take a look at new proof that God and Satan are real, and the implications that are important for all of us to know. In terms of an agenda, cover the problems we face, new proof of Satan, what this means for each of us, and in the next video, part 2, we'll take a look at Satan's and demons' goals, how they work against humanity, what I have personally experienced, new proof of God, and a call to action. Regardless of how you keep up with the news across our nation and around the world, whether television, radio, newspapers, or the internet, it's apparent to many people that the world appears to becoming a more and more dangerous place, and there does appear to be an increase in the prevalence of evil. So much so that most people have gotten habituated to the daily news of the latest tragedy that has happened or heinous crime. And I'm here to emphasize that the overwhelming majority of murder and mayhem and bad things that happen in this world are due to one group. And I'm going to highlight this group in this talk. In terms of prevalent proof of Satan, all throughout sacred scripture in multiple faiths, there are writings about him. These are examples from the New Testament and the Old Testament, and there are others. We also see Satan and demons in artwork over the centuries, in literature, in music. You may have heard of a type of music called satanic rock. But there's reference even in opera, in various films, and in popular TV series. And in fact, there does appear to be a fascination with the deliverance ritual of exorcism. A very apropos phrase from the French author Charles Baudelaire, I think, is very important to keep in mind, and that is, the greatest craft of the devil is convincing mankind that he does not exist. So imagine that you are God and have a problem. You have created angels, and they have made their decision of whether to follow you or to rebel. Now you've created human beings and given them free will so that they can grow and develop over their lifetimes and demonstrate their character through their choices in life, whether or not to follow God or Satan's evil ways. So you have, as written in the book of Revelation, it's apparent that you, God, being all-powerful, the God of all creation, the creator of angels and of human beings, you've won the war. However, battles are being lost every day, as shown in needless loss of life, of good people, and loss of souls to Satan and his demons. Compounding this is the lack of faith and lack of religious affiliation that we're seeing here in the United States and around the world that makes it easier for the forces of evil to deceive and manipulate human beings into attacking each other and not acting to protect themselves. So what do you do? So based upon the daily news, it would appear that humanity is losing the battle against the forces of evil. So how can you come up with a plan that levels the playing field to give humanity awareness of the reality of Satan and demons when most of humanity, including clergy, doubt that he exists? One approach would be to select a unique human being that would be sufficiently selfless that they would be willing to risk everything, including their own life, to save the good souls of this world. In addition, you would have to select a human being that's not a celebrity or someone that would cause suspicion to Satan, so that Satan would feel he is in control and could do whatever he wanted to do. Furthermore, you would want this selected human being to do something that would so thoroughly infuriate Satan that Satan would reveal himself to this individual in a vain and careless way. And that way, the reality of Satan can be shared with humanity without God unfairly doing that for humanity. So the context for how this all came together started in spring of 2015, where after several years of dealing with demonic oppression through a relative of my spouse, I was strongly encouraged by God to learn as much as I can through books, videos, and films about the forces of evil and the rite of exorcism. And God would continuously compel me to learn more. And in June of that year, after I had been given the impression that based upon the many people that have no access to clergy in search of spiritual help and deliverance, I scheduled a meeting with the second in command at the Catholic Diocese of Orlando to offer to help the 2.5 million in the greater Orlando area and provide services that would support and complement what the current diocesan exorcist is doing. It was a rather unusual, surreal drive to the diocese, knowing in advance that no layperson had ever made this offer. Only 40 to 60% of people that seek this type of spiritual help from the Catholic Church are Catholic, They're of all denominations and even the atheists. So after I met with the Vicar General of the diocese, I was immediately referred to the diocesan exorcist, who, as you can imagine, is not listed in the phone book. And I had a very enjoyable meeting with him in July. My intention for the meeting was to offer to support him and to be able to serve more people in need in the greater Orlando area. However, it became very apparent in my discussions with the diocesan exorcist that his perspective of what value I can bring to the table was based upon my psychology degree from the University of Michigan, that is in the area of discernment, where I would add value, as well as in maintaining the safety and control of the environment where the ritual was taking place. I did not share the guidance and direction I had received directly from God in terms of what I thought God wanted me to do. 2 days later, after meeting with that exorcist, I was doing some basic office cleaning, preparing to start a new job in the next couple of weeks. And I took a very interesting photograph, which Satan used to directly communicate with me for the first time in a very clear manner. For modest awards I received at my most recent employer, they were in the form of paperweights and of a clear resin material that was off to the side of my desk. And I basically took my smartphone and took a photograph with the intention of just packaging them up and storing them away. When I later took a look at the photograph, I noticed that the most interesting aspects of the photograph have nothing to do with the awards. If you look at the right side of the screen, you'll see what appear to be images within the awards themselves. Let's take a look at the lower right-hand portion of the screen, where my initial impression was it was clearly a humanoid face and somebody looking down to try to figure out what these awards were. However, when you zoom in on the photograph, you find that the individual there is not looking at the awards, he's looking at the viewer of the photograph. So as we zoom in, you will see, and this is helpful if you focus on the right eye of this individual, you'll be able to see outline of the face, the chin, nose, mouth, as well as something he is holding down here with his clenched hand. It actually comes across as red. You can see the fingers, you can see the thumb, and this darker area appears to be a 4-prong pitchfork. So the iconography is intended to be unmistakable. Now, there is a lot more in this photograph that's visible, and I have the advantage of years of analyzing this photograph for other personalities and demons that are in this thing. However, it's unmistakable who this is. Now, if you combine this with an additional image, you'll get the overall image of the photograph. This has more contrast, might make it a little bit more easy to see what I'm referring to. If you look at the upper right-hand portion of the screen, particularly where these shadowy figures are with the very smooth edges, as we zoom in on this upper right portion of the photograph, there's actually a collection of skulls that are depicted here. And I count at least 5, with this one looking at the viewer of the photograph, this one looking slightly down. But the skulls are, unlike real life, in which they are expressionless. In this photograph, they're personified with an expression of anger. So if you combine the image of the skulls, which typically in most cultures means death, and the previous image of Satan, it becomes clearly apparent that this is a threat to the viewer of the photograph, me. So what does this all mean? Satan and his demons are here with us on earth, just like it says in Revelation, and they are not yet in hell. Not believing in the reality of evil does not protect you. Now, what's most important, and what I want to emphasize, is the God of all creation is much more powerful than Satan, who is merely a fallen angel, and the demons that are weaker than Satan. And God's angels protect us, and they're already protecting us. We have God's protection and his angels working for us. However, our choice of behaviors can make us safer. The larger news for today, and just as important as the visual proof of Satan, is this new information. And what I have personally learned, that Satan and demons, in fact, profoundly affect humans and society each and every day. And if we're cognizant about that, we'll be more respectful and considerate in how we treat other people, and we can work collaboratively together, both across our nation and internationally, to solve human problems. One additional key point I should make during this presentation is I am in fact a messenger and a teacher, not an exorcist. God compelled me, without telling me what the actual plan was, to deceive Satan. And he made me believe that he wanted me to provide this spiritual deliverance. But in fact, that was not the case. God's strategy for me is doing what I'm doing right now, sharing the truth with you, and helping to coordinate a nationwide and global response to make this world a safer and better place. If you found this video informative and helpful, please subscribe by selecting the button below. For more information and helpful resources, as well as to support the spreading of peace and faith, go to bringhumanitytogether.com. Peace be with you.